Hey guys, what's up, what's good? Welcome back to my channel. So I asked you guys on Instagram to send me a couple of questions. What is a whole phase? Do you think it helps with personal growth? Firstly, I never knew what a whole phase was until I saw this question and I was like, huh? But when I checked Google, apparently every girl needs a whole phase. No, I wouldn't advise anybody to go through the whole phase. You should probably use that phase to work on yourself, take care of yourself. If anything would help personal growth is building on your person, on your personal self. So know yourself, know your body, because every time you go around, you're giving a part of yourself away to another person. You're sharing emotions, you're sharing, there's a lot of things going on. Please, let's be guided. Someone said, how do you shave your inner punani? Personally, I don't shave, so I can't tell you. Usually when I used to shave, a few years ago. But personally, I hate shaving. I don't like the feeling of shaving. It was just too much work for me. And also when your hairs are growing out, it was very itchy. Ingrown hairs are real. So shaving for me just didn't work. So personally, I wax and I prefer waxing. It is painful, but I prefer the results of waxing. And I would advise that you wax, but depending on your pain level and how old you are as well. But what I know is if you're shaving, try and make sure the blade is really sharp. Don't reuse blades over and over again because you're just risking more ingrown hairs. Use a really sharp blade, a brand new blade every time if you can, but also that means you have to be careful so you don't cut yourself. So yeah, use new blades and just be careful and make sure you can kind of see. Usually before I would put a mirror under so that I can see what I'm doing, so I don't end up cutting what's not meant to be cut, because any cut down there is quite painful. So put a mirror down there, put a mirror on the floor, open your legs quite open and use a sharp blade and make sure that you shave carefully. And also I find that people use soap. I don't think you want to use a shaving cream down there, it's quite sensitive. But just make sure that you kind of washed before. I don't have much experience with shaving, so I can't tell you much, but that pads or tampons. Pads. Personally, I like pads. I've used tampons once before, but it just didn't work out for me. And like my periods can be quite heavy, so tampons was just pointless because I had to wear tampons and a pad. I like the feeling of them because they are quite light, but I just prefer pads. I don't know. I just prefer a pad. It's not the most comfortable thing, but personally, I just prefer a pad. And someone asked about periods and period hacks that help you. I usually use the most heaviest pads. I find that works for me. So always I use like the number 4. So I find that using really thick ones work. And usually at night I put a pad on both sides of my pants. So you put a pad normally in front, but I also put a pad under, just because leakage is real and I hate leaking. I hate it so much. So I usually pad up as much as possible to prevent it. So when I do both sides, I find that if it wants to leak, it just leaks out to the back. But I try to make sure that I don't leak. Obviously it's quite there's only so much control that you have over it, especially at night. But usually I find that I actually don't sleep through the night if I'm on my period, because I'm always so conscious of leaking. And also you need to find a sleeping position that works for you and how you bleed. What I find is using like an old towel or old cloth and just pad your bed before you sleep. Like just put it under, just in case you leak, so it doesn't leak on your sheets. You should probably keep aside like your period towel or your period cloth or whatever, and I kind of put that over my bed to make sure it's cushioned up, so just in case I leak, it doesn't go on my sheets, which I hate. Try and stay away from like chocolate and the sugary things. Although your body might be craving it, try and replace that with like fruits and all, because sugar doesn't help you. It makes the pain worse, it makes the bleeding worse. So stay away from sugar as much as possible and drink lots and lots of water. Last point, there's a lot of things you can put under period category, but I also find that obviously the blood is kind of sitting around there. So usually when I put pressure on my body, so like when I laugh or when I cough or something, it just shoots out. See, TMI, like I just feel this whole gush of blood. So I always have those periods within my period where like there's a gush of blood coming out. So usually I take advantage of that when I go to the toilet. And if I pee, I just put a bit more pressure to push out any blood that might be sitting up there. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I usually find that it works for me because I'd rather just push everything out in the toilet than putting it on my pads because it saves me some time. I want to have sex, but I'm too scared. Firstly, you don't want to go and do something when you are scared to do it. So, I mean, in certain areas of life, you know, you take risks, but not in the area of sex. It's very important that you feel ready. It's a good thing that you're feeling scared. I would be worried if you are just going around, sleeping around, and there's no fear in you, like you don't fear God. So it's important that you are scared, because if you are scared, you wouldn't do it. Go with the tune of your body. If you're ready, please be ready after marriage, because that's when I feel like even if you have sex before marriage, your mind is not at peace, because you're like, you wouldn't enjoy the experience because something in your head is telling you that, hey, I shouldn't be doing this. So save yourself the stress and not do it at all. Like the Holy Spirit that lives in us would always remind you, not just sex, but in anything, when you're about to tell a lie, when you're about to do something that is not, you know, going to please God, the Holy Spirit, there's something in you that will tell you, hey, work on other areas of yourself that would distract you from that thought. And also think about the consequences if you go down that area. There are a lot of the cons outweigh the pros of being sexually active outside the constitution of marriage. Or because if you truly trust and love the person that you're about to be sexually active with, you wouldn't be scared. So that's why I think the fear is a good thing right now, because you shouldn't be giving that away to just anybody and everybody. When the right person comes, when the right time comes, your mind would be at peace and you would have a beautiful experience with sex. And someone also asked about sex and how to build self-discipline and self-control. Again, like I said, it's not easy, especially as you're growing up and hormones kick in. You know, see a fine guy walking around, or your boyfriend is a fine boy, whatever. But it's very important to realize that even if you do it right now, it's literally 2 minutes, 5 minutes of pleasure. And unfortunately, you're not going to enjoy it. Let me tell you, you're not going to enjoy it even if you give in to that feeling of, you know, because the thing is, you're not going to do it wholeheartedly. You're not going to, especially females, it's very rare for us to get an orgasm. So the person really needs to learn your body, which is going to take time for them to realize how to, you know, get you there. So it's going to take you you need to do it a lot of times for you to start enjoying it and get the experience that you want. So it's not worth it, because that once, you're going to regret it after, and you're going to be like, why did I do this? Honestly, that's how I personally feel. When you get that feeling, you're like, okay, this feeling, if I now feed this feeling, what's going to be the profit of it? Nothing. Yeah, and it's very important to, you know, discipline your body and be controlling of yourself, because if you can't control yourself now, even if you get married and you guys live apart, it's important that you also learn how to control yourself. So you're kind of building yourself now for later on, because your partner is not always going to be there for you to be sexually active with. So if your partner isn't there, how are you going to control yourself? So you're kind of proving to yourself and proving to your partner, if you're in a relationship, that, hey, I can hold myself when you're not there. When you are there, you know, we can keep ourselves in shape, in order, kind of thing. Because this uni work is making me less motivated the closer I am to finishing. Girl, I feel you completely. But you always have to remember, I always find that I usually had the post up here of, you know, what I wanted to get, but it fell down and I didn't replace it. However, it's very important for you to imagine things, for you to see. When I'm in that, you know, zone, when I'm visualizing things of what I want for myself and what I want for my life, it kind of gives me that instant motivation. It may not carry me through all the way, but I'm like, I'm looking at all these things, but technically I may not get any of these things if I don't get my degree, if I don't stay motivated at uni. So that's one thing that might help me. But the truth is, you can't keep motivated by yourself. It's very difficult. You need to surround yourself. Make sure that the people around you want the same thing, and it makes it a lot easier when, if you're down, they bring you up. If they're down, you bring them up, and everybody just kind of works together, you know. I'm still struggling with being motivated, you know. By the grace of God, we have a couple of months left, and it's not easy. But when you are counting the time, you're like, hello, time is going. Time is going. February is finished. March is here. Time is not waiting for you. Honestly, just pick up the pace. Even if you're not doing so much, just do something. Pray if you're religious. That really helps, you know, for God to just rekindle the fire in you and just help you push through, because it's not easy. No one ever said it was going to be easy, but the people that ended up making it through just had to push through anyway. So in that season of lack of motivation, watch people that inspire you. You know, look for people that would motivate you and keep your motivation up, rather than you just allowing yourself to wallow in laziness. Just a little more to go and we'll be done, and we'll thank God at the end of the day and give a testimony that He did it for us, and you know, He gave us the strength to pull through. So pray for strength, because it's not easy. It's really not easy. Practical advice on how to stop comparing yourself to other people. Focus on your strength. So you write, what am I good at? What am I not good at? You know? And when you realize, you know, hey, I'm actually good at a lot of things, you focus on that as much as possible, even if sometimes it's very easy to get thrown off. And if you're surrounding yourself with people, it must be people that, you know, lift you up, people that encourage you, that point out the best things in you. Allow yourself to be okay with the imperfections of yourself. Realize that there's literally only one you. Like, nobody else can duplicate you, not even your twin. You know, there's literally only one you. So no matter if everybody's doing the same thing, everybody's wearing the same outfit or whatever, you have your own touch. You know, you add your own individual spice to it. So you need to kind of tell yourself, look at the mirror every morning and, you know, say, I'm good at this. You know, talk to yourself, tell yourself, I'm good at this. And if you feel like there's an area that you actually want to be better at, and that's what's making you insecure because you're not so good at it, or it's not so much of your strength, then work on it. You know, read more, practice it, spend hours into it, because people that are perfect at something, we're not born to be perfect at it. You know, it took a lot of practice, it took a lot of experiment. You know, sometimes people look at, you know, people behind the screen and think everything is perfect, but no, they put in a lot of work to make it look perfect to you. If you're only going to identify with the success part of it and not with the labor of work that, you know, pushed that success, then you're only going to be selling yourself lies. It's going to take time, but focus on your journey, love your journey, and you're the only person that is in charge of that journey. So unless you take charge of it, someone else will. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think that is kind of a lot already. Instagram is where I'm most active. That's where I get my questions from when I'm asking you guys about what you want to see, questions you want me to answer. So please make sure you follow my Instagram at Dammy Days, and yeah, keep in touch. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.